Due to how many people we have, we're going to be splitting off into two different sections. So everyone here is going to be using the med bay. We're going to go out to the airfield and set up out there. That way it's not too much communication happening at once in the same spot. So we'll want to come on with.
Are you coming?
I mean, if it's really bugging, yeah, then...
Alright, I'll just quickly dump down all my shenanigans. Where is the tubes that I want to use? You know what, we should actually probably just do it outside so I can use the tents.
They got lost.
Alright, Maiden, I'll let you take care of that one. I'll take care of these guys then.
Bastard ships sometimes. Alright. Alrighty-o. I might actually just turn LSF, noise of the engines down to 0. Yeah, it sounds like,
Nothing we can do about that one, sadly.
yeah, sounds like it's a bit of fun. Alright, everyone, let's just jump on in. Alright. The wonderful thing about the way I like to try and do medical training is I give you guys the option of what sort of medic training you want to do. Specifically being the fact if you want to do more of a triage thing, which is more of the specialty of Pigeon and myself, we're more of the on-field medics. So, of course everyone wants to improve their skills. Does anyone have a preference what you would like to do? Awesome.
So basically what I do.
Yeah. Alright, yeah. Cybernetics. If you want cybernetics, that is more so the specialty of Long and Maiden, who are our surgeons. Though me as a doc, it kind of is my thing, but
After we're done here, you guys will get rotated to Long and
basically. So, a lot of what we like to do for triaging on the field is a lot of just quick thinking, quick little bit of RP. So I'm going to actually delete a couple of these props to give us more space, because this is an old dupe that was designed to be an actual med bay. Less glitchy this way. Just spawning in a ragdoll. It's taking a long time to search for the ragdoll I want to use, because we have a running gag 9/17 that Long's model always needs to get used for things.
Help.
Fucking hell.
Chill out there, buddy. Help me. Up the roof.
Alright. Nice and stiff. Alrighty, so triage wise, when you're in the battlefield, of course, it's quick thinking. It's more about getting the troopers safe and getting them off the field, more than completely healing them up. So let's say, for example, we have this lovely trooper here. He's just got 3 shots to the chest. What would you expect to do on the field?
Oh, that's good.
You're a prop moving around, and I don't know what prop it is.
Here on the inside, I can reach it. That works too.
So, anyone have any ideas what you're going to be primarily focusing on for a troop who's been shot in the chest on the field? I see our...
Where you could apply tourniquets back to patches.
Yep. Alright, scanning his vitals. Yes, you definitely want to make sure he's alive. If you know that he's alive, I wouldn't worry too much. Hang on, let's see if I can move this. Let's just drag him over here. Nice little pose that we got him in. Oh, that's a nice little... Alright, so yeah, you want to quickly make sure he's alive, but if he's talking and stuff, don't worry about scanning his vitals. The main thing at this point in time is stopping the bleeding from the blaster wounds to the chest.
And just another point, if you just make sure you put like your life stuff into account as well, like pressure on the bleeding.
Of course. So, as Pigeon said, you'd be putting bandages on the wound and applying pressure. Right, so got pressure on him. You're making sure more so that yeah, you're going to use something like a coagulant just to help cause blood clotting.
I'll reply to Acarissa. We're in the main hangar. If he wants to come check out this one too.
Indeed. So, don't worry about my poor little rolls. I would have been failing with that, and he would be dying even worse. Not good. But the primary thing is patching up the wound, stopping the bleeding. Yeah, I I'm having a tongue twister day, which is not best thing for training. Yeah, causing the blood clotting and, of course, pain relief. So, Novocaine as well. A lot of what we do on the actual field is not about worrying about actually getting in there, repairing the internal damages. It's more about getting in there, patching him up, and then sending him back to base for the doctors to worry about him. So that's the sort of stuff that is generally the most common for field medics, like Pigeon. I tend to deal with that the most as well as sub-company medics. It's a lot more about patching them up and getting them out of there. That's why the whole injector. So, if he had a broken leg, for instance, what would you do if he had a broken leg instead?
Hell, Ruby, what the fuck did you do?
Any ideas? Trooper can't walk. Huh? Alright, Pigeon, if this trooper had a broken leg, what's something you would do to get him out of here as well?
The floaty thing.
Well, painkillers being one of them.
The stretcher, yeah.
Painkillers for the pain.
Get him out.
Depending on what I have on me, if I have anything that's like straight or something, I try to keep the leg as straight as I could.
Yep. So, I've put it in here sort of first about disinfecting the wound.
I know someone has gun to make a brace with using your bandages and your guns. You could make a brace with it. A temporary brace, obviously.
Indeed. So a few different options were just put out there. Like the privateer had said about disinfecting the wound. You can if you have the time, but if you're in the middle of battle, don't really worry about disinfecting them at this point. Just worry about patching them up. So main thing if someone's got a broken leg is give them a splint. So if you don't have a splint, use something like your RP that you've strapped the DC-15A to their leg. Yeah, pretty much to make sure he's mobile and make sure he's able to walk or the like. So you can RP strapping the rifle to his leg.
Amputation is only necessary. We don't really go to amputation unless it's been blown off.
Yeah. So if you wanted to had to amputate a leg, that would be an extreme condition. Say if his leg was stuck underneath a rock and you had to get him out. That's where on the field you'd be doing more of an amputation kind of thing. The reason on the field you wouldn't do that in a triage situation is it causes a high level of blood loss. So there's a high chance that the trooper would die from amputating their leg. So it's a last resort thing that you would do. If he's got the broken leg and everything, you would be, yet again, just putting a splint on it, stabilizing it, getting him back to the surgeons, and if they have to cut it off, that's when they'll do it, when they've got the proper equipment. If you're cutting off a leg in the field as well, if you think about it like in real life as well, there's all dirt, grime, everything around. You don't know what bacteria is going to get into the leg. You can't sterilize it properly, so you want to avoid amputations. And of course, as Ozzy said as well, this stretcher, if you've got one, is a good option to have to drag them out. We don't always have stretchers, so that's where you'll also just get them to like put their arm over your shoulder or whatnot and carry them around. You'll see even in medbay we do it at a time. We do a simple little bit of comms RP of having an RP saying that we're helping picking them up to move them. Very basic, and all you do in that situation is you literally get the person to follow on behind. So say if I did it to Pigeon out in the field, I would just say I've picked her up, and I would just sort of walk along, and Pigeon would follow behind me as the RP that I'm helping carrying her in the field. It's the sort of thing you want to be also think about than a stretcher at times, because also a stretcher requires 2 people. So in that situation, if you're RPing with a stretcher, you need someone in front of the trooper being carried, as well as someone behind to be able to RP that you're using a stretcher. Now, what's the most common scenario that you do see out in the field, though, that you have to deal with triage-wise? It's very common. Well, there's 2 very common ones that are small little ones that we can sometimes play along with. Comes down to just the simple shots, of course. So same as we did before. If you wanted to do the bit of RP, back in the day we used to do it a bit more often. This is going back like almost 4 years. If someone was shot, instead of just straight up injecting them, if we had the chance, it's the same thing. So, of course, back the patches is probably the most common bit of tool that and equipment you'll use as a medic in triage situations. The back to patch will just cover the wounds, slow its degradation.
It's like a band-aid, but it's got
kind of.
stronger healing.
It's gonna heal stuff up. Most common things, and that's why back to injector, I used to actually have a bind, which would be pretty much me applying a back to patch. I removed it recently when I returned. Instead, for looking for medical supplies is my bind instead now. So, since I do a lot more stuff in medbay, but it's a little bit of RP that you can do, slapping on someone before just injecting them. It's same with Jedi. You've got your lovely little Jedi here. I'm going to shoot him because I can. Now let's see if it works. Yep. Okay. I did not even damage him. So, same with the Jedi. We have to roll for whenever the Jedis are injured, of course, as everyone should know, yes.
Rolling over 50.
Yeah, over 50 for pretty much the normal medics. The Jedi actually prefer us to do that little bit of RP of healing them up than just straight up rolling. So you quite often want to do things like I said before, just the slash me slaps on back to patch. Your most common used tool on the field. Yes, go for it, RC. So once you've rolled over 50, you can heal them all in one go. You don't have to roll per heal. It would just take too long if you did that. So as long as you do your slash roll, yeah, that's all good. It comes down to the fact that quite often when we're needing to heal up a Jedi, it's in a combat situation where they need to get back to protecting all the clones. That's why we don't really do the RP as often for patching them up. But if it's in a quiet little session, the battle's sort of over and we're healing them up, if we can, it is preferred to slash me a little bit. Just a small little sentence. Or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but the ideal. Now, any situations that happen out on the field that you all want to know how to handle a bit better at all? Explosive damage. Ah, yes. Being 13th, I should have expected that one, and being Grenadier. Oh, that's very fitting. So explosive damage on the field. Generally, the RP to that would be, shrapnel, of course. That is likely to have punctured the trooper, as well as burning. So in that situation, your two most used things will be probably a tourniquet, Bacta patch, and burn slave. So let's get rid of this model actually. Here's my corpse. Here's Mr. Crispy. Yeah, Mr. Crispy has been too close to an explosion, which happens a lot, especially in events run by Andy. We generally... You should know very well that wouldn't be Gunny. Gunny would be the person who probably vaporized them. Yeah, he would be definitely dead in this situation. But this model does get used at times as the person has a little bit of damage to him. Okay. Don't worry, my cousin just walked in. He's hearing me talk about this body being a little bit crispy and laughing at me. Alright, so if you do have the shrapnel damage and you do have burns, it's clearly not going to be this bad, but burn slave. That's the first thing you want to put onto him instead of Bacta.
Are they killing the person having surgery on? Oh, I'm sorry, Coco. I have to say there is no way we can save this guy.
Oh no, he's dead. And I'm still getting bad rolls. So, simplest term is, of course, burn slave is a medical ointment that treats burns. That's the very, very simple diagnosis and explanation of what it is. That's what you'd want to be using on explosive victims. Shrapnel, if it's small shrapnel, you can remove it if you want to with like forceps, tweezers, that sort of thing. But if it's large pieces of shrapnel, then you would leave it in. So you'd be just putting a bandage around it to keep it stable.
It's kind of the same with like radiation. You let the other boys deal with that.
Yeah. So basically, it's just something like that. Using a Bacta bandage would be ideal to try and keep the wound nice and clean, healed up a bit. Large piece of shrapnel, get it removed off field basically, unless you got no options. Does that give you a little bit of an idea of what you should do with explosive damage, or would you like something a bit further, a bit more specific? Alright. Anyone else have any specific things out in the field which you come across that you would like to deal with and understand a bit more about? Nope. Alright. what I'll do is I'll put down a random model, and someone can come up and I'll give you a scenario, and just you can tell me how you'll deal with it. Let's go with our favourite mysterious
Who's your
man.
best friend? Pick your best friend, don't ever abuse them. Oops, I said be your fucking worst enemy.
Right, so in the field, you've come across this lovely person here. He's got a broken arm. He's got a bit of his bone sticking out the side. Who wants to come up and give it a shot as to what you would quickly do in the field? Alright, private. Go for it.
Yeah, that's a positive result for those rivals who's alive.
Greetings, droid.
The fuck? New one?
Unfortunately, I'm one of those clones that haven't learned to speak droid.
I can speak droid.
Annie can speak droid.
Anakin can speak droid, yeah. Hey. Droid. To the droid.
No. Oh, okay.
Don't know
You
what
don't
he's
want oil.
saying.
But I can speak. Wait, that's one of the parts of being a pilot. You have to know how to speak droid.
One thing I'll mention, Private, your RP, medical RP is on par, of course. In a triage situation, how much of the niceties do you think you'll have time for? In medbay, 100% we will go into the full detail. On the battlefield, the main objective is to quickly handle the situation. Continue on from there. Pretty much the bit more of the case. So if he's got a broken arm, we would love to be able to do the niceties that we would do in medbay, but out on the field, it's going to be a lot more of getting to the trooper quickly, getting him patched up, and getting him out. So there's two different styles of the medical RP. There's a full medical RP of medbay, which is what Long and Maiden are also doing with people, whereas I'm sort of doing the cut down triage side of things. So if I came across the trooper on the field, I saw that he had the broken arm, which would be quite visible. It'd be pretty much a case of doing something a bit more like this.
Thing about RP. It'll be the simplest thing for the highest rolls.
Of course, because my specialty is more dealing with the triage and on-field medical. That's why I can type that so quick. But that's more of the thing you want to be doing in a triage situation. You don't want to take too much time. You need to sort of come up with the very basic RP, the very basic things. So you just need to remember a simple thing of one common medication, which I always use Naloxone as my basic simple one. And of course, back to patches, bandages, the like. Yeah, Cameron, you can use. Hello there, kind sir. So you want to really do it quickly at the same time, the RP that you're doing. It feels in a way rushed, but that's a triage situation on the field. All right. Let's change this up.
I'm going to take with on battle RP is a minimum of 5 minutes. Maximum of 5 minutes. You don't want to take longer.
All right. So, does someone else want to give it a shot doing the RP of someone having the broken arm and see how you go? Ah, yeah. We'll be seeing you over there soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes until the event starts.
I've got plenty of overlays. I like my dark and spooky overlays. A lot of my stuff is turned off right now for what I'm doing. So anyone want to have a quick go at trying to do the RP with dealing with someone with broken arm on the field? Yep, go for it, RC Trooper. That's all good. Anytime. I'm always up for teaching people more things. I'm probably going to try and get a set date and day and time for weekly sort of training where we can do whatever people want to learn more on. So keep an eye out for that.
What I really want to do is the revival time because when I'm down on the ground, I see people running around. They don't even notice I'm down.
Yeah.
Revival time is something that I do really quick. You want to revive them as soon as they fucking hit the ground.
So, anything else you would like me to do quickly for you before we have to all disappear for the 8:30 events? Alright, since you've been so interested, RC Trip, do you want to quickly see how you'd go with patching up this lovely man's broken arm? Seeing what little RP you would do? This is a useful little document that I've made up as well, if you want it all for medications and the like in the future as well. Gives you some of the basics.
Positive roll.
One of the worst things is rolls. Back in the day we didn't have to worry about it, but it does spice things up a little bit when you get bad rolls.
But don't remember you can get people to, you know,
Assist.
assist you in that if rolls go wrong. If you've got someone with you, you can always ask them just to assist roll. Yep.
In medical RP, we can work together quite a lot. In medbay, at times we do operations and there'll be 3 of us in the operation instead of just one person trying to do it all. Helps with the roles as well as the RP of the multiple things that can be going on at once. Awesome. Due to it being 8:30, we're going to have to, of course, call it here because we're all going to have events to go to. So, thanks for attending. I'm sure we'll do some more stuff in the future that everyone can come along to. At ease. That's all good. Hopefully you got something out of it. Of course, if there's any specific types of medical and medic training you want to do, we'll always try and do that for you. Especially going forward when hopefully this becomes a more regular thing. So keep an eye out and see you out in the battlefield.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me. Carly's too.
I'm making heaps of fun of.
Alright. That's that over and done with. Shooting in people. Just kind of throwing together this stream. I did not actually plan on streaming, and then I was just like, why not? But right, I will see you all around. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.